know, like, firstly, do I say congratulations or you know, good for you?
I don't know. Most people have been saying, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's great." I'm like really happy with the decision. So yeah.
How does it feel to have the T100 Triathlon World Championship final in Dubai be the last race of a phenomenal career in the sport?
Yeah, well, I feel like I've been around the block a bit in triathlon. I'm now 36. I've basically been a professional athlete since I was 18. So it's a long time. Over those years, triathlon was very literally a childhood dream for me to be a professional athlete. And I definitely achieved way beyond anything I could imagine. So, I feel like I've done all right, and I'm up on that form. And yeah, I think racing in the T100 this year has probably been more about the racing per se. I mean, I am a competitor. I want to be on the start line and compete to the best of my ability. So it's been great to have a good result here in Dubai. But I also really believe in the importance, I guess, without sounding too high-minded, of what T100 and the PTO are trying to do, taking triathlon to those new audiences, really kind of engage fans, and most importantly new fans of the sport, to raise athletes' profiles, to give them the opportunity to race on the biggest stage and motivate and inspire a new generation of athletes into endurance sport. And so yeah, it's been fantastic to race this year in the T100. I was pretty confident all year that this was going to be my last racing, but I wanted to get to the end of the year, really see how I felt without making a rash decision. So it's been special.
What made that decision for you?
It's many factors have gone into that decision. Ultimately, it just feels really right, and I know that's kind of a wishy-washy kind of thing to say, but it does, and I'm really happy with it. And yeah, it's a combination of I have been doing it for a long time. I mean, there's so many other things in sport I want to be able to do. I want to be able to do all kinds of endurance challenges. I want to stay fit and healthy and be part of sport, hopefully into my old age. And I'm definitely aware I'm kind of, putting the miles on the clock and wearing certain things down. So I wanted to retire fit and healthy, and not be forced to retire by injury and illness or whatever. It has got more difficult for me. I can't do anywhere near the training that I used to be able to do. So I also found it hard at times being on the start lines, knowing that I'm not prepared to the level that I'd like to be. And yeah, I mean, I'm old. I'm 36. I've done it for a long time, and there's a load of other things I want to do with my life.
When you look back on your career, what are the highlights that stand out?
Yeah, that's obviously an easy one. Winning 2 Olympic gold medals are the highlights. I talk about especially that race in London a lot of, again, I've used this anecdote many times, but I was in school when London won that bid, and it was 7 years before the Olympic Games, and so that was a massive part of my life, and then to pull it off on that day was phenomenal, and then do it again in Rio as well. But I think just as well, success and racing so many times over all those years. I actually did think of trying to look into it and see how many top level races I've done over all those years, but I haven't done it yet.
How do you want to be remembered in this sport, and how do you think you're perceived in this sport?
I guess that's a question for other people to answer. I mean, I'm not really the person that, I'm not trying to, I guess, too worried about the narrative too much of what other people think, and I just try to do what's right. So yeah, I'd like to be remembered as someone who obviously won lots of races and was competitive. I'd like my legacy, I guess, to be much bigger than that, and that's one of the many things that I want to work on when I've got more time of not trying to race. And the charity, the foundation, is a big part of that. I really believe in the importance of sport in everyone's life. It was absolutely crucial to my life. I believe people need to young children need to discover that passion, if they have a passion for it, as early as possible, and then be engaged in sport. And I think triathlon is an amazing vessel to engage young people across the three sports, and that's very much what we try and do with the foundation, and I'd like to do a lot more of that in the future.
I know a little bit about the foundation and the impact that it's having on such a cross-section of people. Can you tell me a little bit about that, and also like what you get from that?
So yeah, I'm very proud of the impact that the Brownie Foundation's had now over 10 years. It's something that I want to continue to work on and grow over the next 10 years, with a bit more time and energy to do it. What do I get it? I mean, I kind of recommend everyone go to an event and volunteer if you can, because they're just incredibly inspiring days. Seeing young people who haven't experienced sport in that way before, that it can be fun, it can be inclusive, it can be competitive, it doesn't have to be, it can be about participation. Yeah, there's hundreds of examples we've got of school classes coming together to cheer maybe one of the slowest friends across the line, and hundreds of examples we've got of people and teachers coming back and saying, you know, so-and-so did it for the first time last year and now he's back and he's joined a triathlon club or a swimming club or whatever, and he was inspired on that day. So yeah, you get an awful lot of satisfaction from that.
After this year, do you not think you could still compete for wins in the T100 series in 2025?
I think I probably could compete for wins in the T100, but there's so many factors now that are out of my control. I probably can't beat the very top guys on their day. Someone like Martin, he would have to have a bad day for me to win. And most frustratingly, the thing that I've found the hardest competing now is I built a career on the ethos that I was the best prepared I possibly could be on the start line, and I basically can't do that anymore. I can't do the training, the intensity. I've done, you know, I still train hard and love it and enjoy it, but yeah, I can do a fraction basically of the training I used to be able to do, and that means you're standing on the start line thinking, yeah, I'm kind of here, and you know, obviously I'm going to race as hard as I can and push and try and beat people, but I just don't have the engine and the tools to actually win races in that way. And the unpredictability. Yeah, I mean, this year, just kind of random injuries. You know, my body obviously is way more prone to injuries now. Illnesses, like having problem with just being ill, kind of fatigue kind of stuff. Never had illnesses like that in a whole career. So yeah, and I don't want to spend months of my life focusing, training hard, and then for something to go wrong in the 5 days before a race. That unpredictability is something I found really tough.
What does this podium mean to you personally?
The podium in Dubai is very special. Obviously, there's been lots of frustrating. It's been a frustrating year for all kinds of reasons. And so, yeah, to get a podium here in my last race is obviously very special.
Was it always important for you to go out still on top and competing?
I never really gave too much thought about how I wanted to go out. And if you asked me this question 10 years ago, I would say, you know, I'm definitely not the kind of person who would race till I was 36. I'll compete well and then, yeah, love to retire and move on and do something completely different. But yeah, so here I am 10 years later, and at some point in those years, my mind frame shifted to, yeah, don't worry too much about being on top and super competitive in what you're doing. Actually, you know, if you do it because you still want to get out of bed every morning and go and train hard and compete, and you enjoy doing it, you take a lot of satisfaction from doing that, that's what you should do, whether you're competitive or not. And that's ultimately why I'm still here. So yeah, I guess the answer to that question is I never gave it too much thought of it like that, but yeah, ultimately I'm still competing because I love it. Otherwise I would have retired a long time ago.
Was it important to you to be a part of the T100 inaugural year, and as you say, you know, be a part of this next chapter in the long book of triathlon that you've featured in?
As I've said, you know, I'm a big believer in project T100, and it's fantastic, and it's been an honour that I've been, part of this first year. I guess it was important to me. Obviously, timing was very important. If it happened next year or the year after, I probably wouldn't have been part of it. If it happened 5 years before, I would have been part of 5 years of it. I think I can just say that it's great that I have had the opportunity and to see how it works, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes over the next 5 years.
What's next?
Firstly, a good rest and some holidays. That's definitely what's next. I've been planning for this day for all this time for a long time. I've always had a pathological fear of having nothing to do, and I didn't want to wake up the morning after my last race, which is today, I guess, and have nothing to do apart from go to the pub, and that would be a disaster. So I've got all kinds of things, projects that I'm really looking forward and excited to do. Stay active, stay involved in sport. I've got a list of events that I want to do, whether that's more gravel racing, ultra running, endurance bikepacking races, mountain bike stuff, anything that's kind of challenging, maybe some of the extreme triathlons, more kind of challenge completion things. So staying fit to do that, and I'm looking forward to that very much. Stay involved in triathlon. I really enjoy the work I do with the IOC and trying to guide sports into new era, and kind of I think that's an important thing to do, more with the charity, and then a bunch of bits of kind of business interests. We've got a couple of companies hopefully that are going to be launching over the next few months, and various bits of work. Sounds a lot, but hopefully it's not that much. I still want to stay very active and enjoy a slightly slower pace of life.
Can you comment on this next generation of triathlete coming through? The Martins, the Yelagines, Kyle Smiths, Taylor Nibbs.
I think obviously it's a fantastic generation of triathletes coming through at the moment. I think one of the things that we've seen in long distance that's new, I think, in this generation is that athletes are coming through and solely focusing on long distance from a young age, or kind of converting early to do long distance after a career in the shorter formats of the sport, and that's obviously raising the level. And with the T100 getting been more significant over the next generation, I think that is just going to accelerate. And so we're going to see more competitive racing.
Is there anything else you'll miss about being a pro athlete?
There'll be lots of things I miss about being a professional athlete. Maybe I don't have time to list them all. So what would I miss the most? There is nothing better actually than enjoying the strict process of training going well over weeks and months. Like just knowing that your days are simple. You've got to do whatever. You wake up, you know what 3 sessions you're doing that day. Your structure's simple. You've got to get through the next 3 or 4 days and then have an easy day. You don't have any real worries about that. Your life is very straightforward and focused, and maybe it's just me, but I think that kind of simple approach of having a very singular focus is actually a really nice way to exist. So I'll very much miss that. I'll obviously miss being very fit, although I'm going to stay fit to do various other challenges. As I said, I'll miss the racing and that feeling of crossing finishing lines when you've had a good race, and just knowing that all the work that's gone into that has paid off. Incredible levels of reward, but I'm probably going to keep doing it. But I think I'll miss the people, although I imagine I'm still going to go and ride my bike and run with most of them that I've rode and ridden with for the last 20 odd years, so that's probably not one to mention.
What's some of the stuff you won't miss about being a professional triathlete?
Start with a simple one. I don't think I'll miss swimming very much. That's an easy one. I won't miss the injuries, but the kind of the frustration of injuries going into race. I mean, that's some of the most difficult things I've ever coped with, is the kind of sense of, I put all this training in, how injured, am I, the not knowing, the frustration, some big ones of those. Is probably the other thing I won't miss. I'll still be very active, but maybe some of those, long, hard rides when the weather's really bad, maybe I can curtail those a little bit, so I won't miss being wet and cold, although I've got a feeling I'm going to keep doing that. So.
What do your family, I assume they know, what did they say?
My family are incredibly supportive. Even I think Johnny texted me yesterday after the race saying there's life in those old legs yet, or something. Or most people have said something along the lines of, are you sure? Are you all right about it? And I've been, I'm 100% sure. I'm really happy with the decision, and very much looking forward to doing other things. It's a massive honour that other athletes look up to you, and I genuinely think it's. I'm very proud that whatever impact I've had on the sport of triathlon in terms of motivating and inspiring other people to be involved. That's really special, and I'm very happy. It's great. On my part, I guess as well, I've tried to do what I can, helping other athletes out, kind of coaching and giving advice to people, just because of my love and passion for it. So, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing where triathlon goes, especially in the T100 over the next few years.